Welcome to Season 4, Episode 6 of the Georgian Surrogacy Podcast. Hi everyone, I'm Liz Tripodi, back with another episode. I'm very, very excited about today's guests. I am welcoming Scott and Michelle to the podcast, who've recently returned home from Tbilisi with their beautiful twins, girl and boy, and a toddler, all born via surrogacy in Georgia. They were initially not planning on doing a sibling journey, but decided in 2025 to try again. Of course, it was a massive surprise to find out they were having twins. So, what were the differences in the two journeys? How hard is it to instantly go from a family of 3 to 5 and everything else? Welcome, Scott and Michelle.
Hi, Liz. How you doing? Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome home.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's good to be home.
How are you feeling?
Tired.
Yeah, tired, I guess.
And for the listeners out there, we're now heard in 93 countries, which is pretty amazing.
Wow.
But this is the first, actually, I'm really excited because you know what, Scott? You are actually the first male to ever appear on this podcast.
Wow, a first.
Yep. And no one knows this but me, but I'm watching both of you feed your twins. So that is also a first podcast, having live feeding.
Yeah, it's a good time. James has just gone down for a nap, so it's good. And he's been trialling childcare today and just went out shopping. And the twins decided to feed them both at the same time, which makes it a little bit easier to talk.
So where do we start?
Yeah,
I
don't know, at the
so
beginning.
let's start.
We first met you online, say 5 years ago.
Yeah, to be about that. It was way before I was.
It was about 22?
Yeah.
2022.
Look, and back then there wasn't really a lot of knowledge on surrogacy out there, and we really didn't know which way to turn or which way to go or what to do. We had our usual sort of IVF journey, which obviously didn't work. So we were looking in every different direction, and just through looking Facebook groups and Googling, we sort of thought about surrogacy. And I'd never been overseas before, and I just said to Michelle, you know what, we're going to try Georgia. We're going to do surrogacy. Where's that? Where's Georgia? And the rest is history, I guess. And then we chatted to you, and then we looked around different agencies, and we looked at Tachava, and we thought, well, they're probably the best because they're being the old hospital and the biggest hospital that does it. And
all under the one umbrella as well.
Yeah. We did our talks, and 2 weeks later I was there. I was actually in Georgia. Michelle signed the agreements online. I went over there and did my thing over there and signed the contracts over there. It was kind of good going over there to get a feel of the place, getting to know what it's like to go into the country and look around, use the currency and use the mobile phone, walk around and see what it's like. And then I came back. At the time, there was quite a rush. There was a lot of people doing surrogacy at the time. There was the possible imminent ban. Yep. So there were many people doing surrogacy at the time. So we had quite a wait for our first surrogate. We chose a travelling surrogate, and she was really good. That was after having about 2 or 3 attempts, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'd had 3 attempts with 2 other surrogates that didn't work, and then we got our last one with James, and it worked. So, from when we started to when we got James, it was about 2 years all up, but that was going through, obviously everything that happened with the Ukraine and the imminent ban, and so, there was a lot going on at that time, but...
Yeah, and James's birth went well, no complications, a full natural birth to 38 weeks. Michelle was there in the room for the birth. I stayed in
the suite.
In the suite there. And
can we talk about that for a second? Because it's something that we a lot of people don't get the opportunity to be there for the birth, and you've now been fortunate enough to be in the room for the birth of all 3 of your children now.
I have.
So can you tell me about James's birth first.
So we got over there a few weeks before he was at 38 weeks, just so I could see the country, do a little bit of travelling, and then we got to meet the surrogate. We got to meet the doctor, and he said that, because James was looking on the larger size, that they would induce at 38 weeks.
Yep.
So she went in the morning, and then we went down to the hospital sort of early afternoon. We had a room that we got to sit in. Turned out our surrogate actually ended up going into labour naturally
that day.
that day. So they didn't end up actually having to induce her. And then, so the doctor was he would come and check in with us and keep us in the loop of where we were at. And then once it was getting close for the birth, he came and got me, and then I just sat outside the room so I could hear everything that was going on, which, all in a foreign language, because our surrogate spoke Russian. So it was like you could just hear that. And then just as he was crowning, they grabbed me and brought me in. So I actually got to see him actually be born and pop out.
How did that feel?
Oh, it's an eye-opener.
It's different.
Because, I've still never actually seen a birth.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then Michelle sent me a photo pretty much within a minute, and I was down there, I see, within 2 or probably 3 minutes.
Yep.
I was out, and they brought him out and said, here's your son, have a look.
Yeah, the doctor brought him out of the room.
Straight away.
So that Scott could meet
Within
James.
less than 5 minutes of birth, I was there holding my son. They then put him into it's not NICU, but it's just an area.
A little mini NICU where they just observe him for the first couple of hours, make sure he takes his first bottle and everything. And he got his vitamin K injection as well at that time. And then we got, shoot out back to our room. And then the doctor came down a little bit later, and he's like walked in and he's like looking around and he's like, where's the baby? And we're like, oh, he's still. And he's like, oh, and he just like walks off. The next thing you know, he walks in with James and he's just like, here you go.
There you go, it's yours.
Yours.
It's on your own. Now what do we do?
Shit, what do we do?
I do that.
How did you feel that moment when you held your son for the first time?
I didn't cry, but very sort of emotional, very surreal. Like, wow, it's actually
very surreal, because it was, a long time coming.
Yeah, because how old were you both when James was born?
I was 53.
I was 50. No, I just had my birthday, so I was 52.
Okay.
52.
So I had my birthday.
Maybe 54.
And neither of you look your age, I just have to say.
What, do we look older?
Nah, you both look like you're in your 30s.
That's good.
Thanks.
That's good.
So it was very, very surreal. But they had the nurse's station was just down the hallway. So when we needed to sort of like work out for like bottles and nappy changes and how that all worked, they were fantastic. Like obviously you do come across some language barriers because they don't all speak English. But you know what? Translator apps are fantastic.
Translator apps. And you use a bit of sign language. You just point and put your fingers up 1, 2, 3. Use a bit of sign language like a bottle or a baby motion or it's kind of worked out. They're very nice, hospitable.
How long were you in hospital for?
3 days.
3 days.
Yep.
3 days. It was part of our package to have that little room there, which is a nice room.
Yeah.
Which is directly off the hall. You just wheel the babies around in that little carrier wheelie thing.
Yep.
And then 3 days, the doctor looked James over and said, yeah, he's fine. He's fine to be released. And then we went back to our apartment and then we moved off to Maluna.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so we were up at Maluna.
Maluna for about 4 weeks. And then we decided it wasn't quite for us because we wanted sort of more restaurant-y sort of, and want a bit of peace. We thought we could manage our own. The nannies were good to us. It was great being there, but it wasn't just kind of our thing, the communal living.
No, it's not for everybody.
Not for everyone,
No, it's definitely not.
So and we decided we wanted a bit
we sort of wanted to be back down sort of more Ruster Valley way.
Yep.
Yeah.
AK way, just to, you have more choice with food deliveries down there. So.
Yeah, and Airbnbs were quite cheap. So like under $100 Australian a day. So yeah, we booked out for another couple of weeks, and then our paperwork was mostly done at the time. And yeah, that was it. So
how long from birth to exit were you out?
James, I think it was 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
We got home right on 6 weeks.
Okay.
When he was 6 weeks old.
It was longer. There was few delays in the hospital paperwork. just took the extra day. A lot of it's on timing, as you know, and you can be just if you have a public holiday here or there, or the report hasn't come through quite right. You can be delayed almost a week sometimes. So
you can get things translated.
There was a lot of people doing surrogacy at the time. I noticed there was a lot more Australians there last time.
Yep.
Whereas I didn't see any Australians there at all this time. And it was like there would have been somewhere different clinics, but there wasn't as many this time that were doing it.
Yeah, it varies. I think it varies. I mean, for example, September this year, September, October, November, I think I've got 9 couples due.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all around the same 6-week period, which is all pretty crazy. All right, so
then, we thought, well, we're done. We're good. We're so happy. James is great. He's happy, healthy, passed all his tests. And
can I ask, I wanted to step one back a sec. So James was donor.
Yes, donor egg.
Now, tell me how did you pick your donor?
I sort of did that mainly because I wanted, not that I'm trying to pretend that I'm genetically related, but I wanted that opportunity of my similar colouring of hair, eye, blood type, and height, sort of build type thing. So, we just had picked out, I think, 3 or 4 of them.
Yeah.
And in the list of what we would have preferred, and then they came back to us and said, all right, number 2 is available to start the process.
And how many embryos did you get?
13.
13, yes.
Wow, that's a great number.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last 3
were mosaic.
Were like compact mosaics.
Okay, yep.
So, you could still potentially get a pregnancy from them.
So, frozen in 2s. So we used 8 in our first attempt with James then. We used 4 attempts.
Yeah, we must have done 4 attempts. So we had all different grades. So we obviously started at the top ones and worked our way down.
So was James, I'm curious to know this, was James not a great quality embryo?
It was a 3, I think he was 3AA.
Okay.
So mid-range.
And the twins, funnily enough, were lower than what his was.
And that's often what happens with twins.
Yeah, they both took. Ours
were not great. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd had some embryos left and we thought, you know what, we'll probably donate them. We didn't really thought we wanted to go again.
That was until you had a conversation with me last year.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I know, yeah.
You are partly responsible.
Thanks for that. You and Tatiana.
Trauma.
I said to you, we caught up. We had a lovely morning breakfast catch up.
Yeah.
Lots of other parents from surrogacy in Georgia. And I said to you, why don't you do a sibling journey? And you're like, oh, don't know, we're good. Well, we have thought about it. And tell me then what happened from there.
Well,
the finances were very tight.
We had to look at our finances.
The main thing we had to look at.
And we did the math and we thought, well, we've got a classic car we can sell. We sold that. We can't drive a Mustang around anyway because James didn't fit. So we thought we're not driving it much. Let's just sell that. We looked at finances. We had enough. If
Scott sold everything that wasn't nailed down.
Everything was nailed down. But marketplace was busy. Yeah, it took an extra work here and there. And they did give us a sibling discount, for a second try. And I was going to say, we were okay if we went on the pay-as-you-go program, not the guaranteed program.
Yeah, so it was like basically
you were on the basic program, and then you can pay per additional attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you got an attempt, and then if you had to go a second go, you had to pay that one.
Yeah.
And we really were on one attempt. We first with paperwork, we had to really renew our power of attorney, which had expired from the first time.
Yep.
We had to do
and
that.
I'll just explain that to the listeners. So power of attorneys in Georgia by law only last every 3 years. So if you do decide to go back for a sibling journey and it's not within that 3-year period of time, a new power of attorney has to be done.
That's correct.
Yeah, but our power of attorney had also left.
Power of attorney had also left.
Yes.
And we had to do a new one with the egg donor as well.
Yep.
So, so there was So instead of, because like on our original power of attorney, it was just one person was our power of attorney.
Yeah, now they're changed. Now there's like 6 of us.
Yeah, there's like a
Yes.
whole heap of people.
A lot of people. And we also kind of needed it to take first go, because had we run out of embryos, we would have had to start a new program and then gone through the egg donor process once again. And we
So
weren't.
how many embryos did you have left too?
So we had 2 decent ones, and then there was 3 that
3
had
mosaics.
been, that had been
Right.
frozen together. So,
Yeah. So
we basically had one go,
they said one go.
because I wouldn't have spent the money to transfer the other ones.
Yes.
Because the odds of them was very, very.
And I've just got to say, I'm looking at the most beautiful little baby boy at the moment. He is so content.
He just had a feed.
Got the most beautiful little chubby cheeks and the most beautiful big eyes, perfect skin, so content.
He looks a lot like James, obviously, being similar DNA. I call him
darker hair.
Darker hair, whereas Cassie is a bit lighter. A bit more fair-haired. No, they're doing really well.
First transfer, what happened?
Sorry?
First transfer, what happened?
First transfer, well, we were offered one surrogate and I wasn't quite sure about it. Offered another one, still didn't feel right, and it's really hard because you basically get a profile and very little notice, and it just didn't feel right. I can't tell you why, but you got to go with your gut feeling.
Yep.
The third surrogate, I could kind of feel they were getting a bit antsy with this. We kept knocking them back, but you know what? It's our way of making it work. And they did a transfer within a few days. I'm not sure how long we got notified after, but our coordinator sent me one little message on WhatsApp, just 2 little chickens.
Okay.
That was it. And I went, what? What do you mean? What do you mean 2 little chickens? I had to message back, you sure? She goes, yes, 2 little chickens. Twins, yes, twins. And Michelle hadn't read her messages, and I had, and I rang Michelle and said, you're kidding me, you're joking. What the hell? What? I was stunned.
Yeah.
And Michelle goes, why? Well, what do you mean? I said, read your messages, have a look at it. And Michelle was speechless. She just went, oh,
Michelle.
Expletive.
oh,
F-bomb.
Oh. Look, we'd always wanted twins, but maybe twins the first time.
Yeah, I had thought, twins the first time would be all right. Once and done, we get 2 kids, we're all good. Wasn't expecting to get twins the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially on your first transfer with pretty much your last 2 embryos.
Yeah.
That's right.
I mean, that is just incredible luck. It really is.
It is incredible luck, and also the babies that we nearly gave away because we were going to donate them to someone else.
Yeah.
That we nearly weren't going to go back. And this all started years ago. I don't know if you believe it or not. We had a tarot reading at a fun fair just for a bit of fun, and they read Michelle's card and said, you're definitely having 2 babies close together. And
Okay.
that was 6 years earlier. A boy and a girl. And we went, okay. So we just kept basically trying to make this work and happen. We never said no. We never ever stopped. We never stopped hoping and wishing and trying, basically. And then we got 3.
Yeah, but because we already had a little boy, we just thought, we'll just get
another girl.
No.
Well, we did.
We did.
Okay, so
Alex came out first and Cassie was...
well, let's hang on. Before we even talk about them popping out, let's talk about the pregnancy. So you got to, you get your pregnancy confirmation. Obviously, there's 2 little black dots there.
Yep.
Then you get to heartbeat because, of course, not many people, for those of us, and I should have probably started the podcast saying welcome to the Twins Club to you both because, you're only the second episode that I've ever done about twins, and, of course, I was the first. But
you found out while you were there. I hadn't even told you because I was so nervous about, keeping or losing them, which does happen.
Yeah.
You actually sent me a message saying, what the?
Yeah.
You couldn't believe it yourself. And I
couldn't believe it. I was in shock when I found out. So
we still are in shock.
For those of us that have gone through a twin pregnancy, you are literally on tenterhooks for every day for the entire pregnancy.
Oh, yes. Yes, yeah.
So talk me through what, tell me about the milestones. Tell me about what happened during the pregnancy.
You, Michelle?
I don't know. It started off pretty straightforward. Oh, we just
Oh,
got a puke going at the moment.
well, we just got a bit of a baby feeding. It's always great, isn't it, when they puke on you? Yeah, we just got a few milestones.
Both of them are so content, though. Look at them; they're just
sitting there. Yeah,
they like to be held.
they love to be held. Love to be held. We just got a few milestones. Everything. We had amazing. We had no problems at all up until about what week?
18
weeks,
20 weeks, something like that, when her cervix started to shorten.
of course, yeah.
So they'd sort of put her into hospital to do the steroid treatment.
Yep.
We were very concerned that stage.
No, Scott was very concerned. He was like stressing something terrible about it. But I'm just like,
it's stressful.
It's only because I'm like trying to be positive. I'm like, it's only 27. It's like, it's not that short. It's pretty good. You can still go 38 weeks with it.
27 was good. I thought you were going to tell me it was like 18 or something.
No, 27.
No.
Otherwise,
it was like 25, 27. It sort of bounced around there a little bit, and then it sort of stabilized, and everything was good for probably another 4 to 6 weeks, and then it did another shorten. Yep. And it went shorter again. I think it went down to maybe 18.
Okay.
And I'm just like, no, it's still going to be good. It's still fine.
How many weeks at this stage did the cervix go to 18?
I think it was sort of around the late 20s.
Okay.
So it was like near 30 weeks. And I'm like, that's fine. It's fine. I'm being positive. I'm like, she's not going to go early. It'll be fine. She'll make it to 36 or later. And Scott's like, no, I think we need to change our detail. We need to change our flights. We need, you need to finish up work earlier. And I'm like, I can't finish work earlier. I've got to do my 10 months to get my paid parental leave.
Yep.
Yeah, so that was.
So I'm like, we can't leave early.
I was fine with leaving.
But like she ended up in hospital for a fair amount of time in the end, we found out.
Between Gudashari and Chachavar.
Because, it sort of had done a little bit of shortening, and they put her on bed rest, and obviously they decided that the best way to keep her restricted with movements was to put her in hospital. But, she made it, quite comfortably to 36 plus 1.
And she was
is amazing.
She was another travelling surrogate, by the way, as well, but from a different country. From
Turkmenistan.
No, Turkmenistan was the first one. Uzbekistan was the second one. Both stands anyway, both similar countries. Yeah. But yeah.
So tell me about birthday.
So, they were
35.
There were 36 plus 1 on the day that they induced.
Yeah, we got there at 35 and a half.
Yeah, we got there sort of it ended up being about a week before they were born. We ended up being there. And so we got told that the C-section would happen because one of the twins was sitting transverse.
Okay.
So it's like, all right, then we don't really have a lot of choice because there's no guarantees that they would, whichever one it was, would flip to the correct position if they managed to get one out naturally. So on the day I sort of was, asked to sort of rock up to the hospital around midday.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there about midday, and then I'm trying to think what time it was. I think it was about 1 o'clock or something where they took me up to the 3rd floor, and I sort of sat and waited and waited and waited and waited. It felt like it took forever.
And Scott, where were you? Because you had James.
I stayed in the apartment, but we picked an apartment that was only about a 15-minute walk away. I stayed in the apartment because James was, he's a young 2-year-old. He wants to play and do things.
He doesn't want to sit in the hospital.
He doesn't want to sit in the hospital. So we ended up getting the call to say come down. I got photos. It's a backtrack. They were born, and then I came down. And then our coordinator looked after James, and I went up.
But, so I sort of sat and waited, and then I think it was about 3 o'clock, our surrogate sort of wandered on down as well. So she was sort of sitting there, and she had a friend with her that guessing was another surrogate that she was sharing a place with.
Yep.
And, she had very, very little English. She it was like a hello, goodbye, thank you kind of amount of English. But I know she said something, and then she's like, mama, and she's pointed to me. So it was like, obviously she was telling her that I'm the mama of the babies. And then when she was ready, they took her through. And then once they had it all set up and prepped, they allowed me to go in and sit with her as well. And, yeah, all of a sudden it's just like, boom, 120's out.
Alex.
And so there was someone there who's like, it's the boy who's come out first.
Yep.
And then, a minute later, the other one comes out.
Wow, only a minute. Okay.
Yeah, they were only a minute apart. They did have to give Cassie a little bit of extra oxygen and that just to help her get started with her breathing regularly, which is not unusual, being born at 36 weeks to have that anyway. And then one of the nurses grabbed my phone and went and took a couple of photos.
Yeah. So,
because I could sort of see, but not see them very well, because I could see them take like the little oxygen mask off her so that they could get some photos of them and bring it back for me. And then, yeah, like one of them had written down like what their weights were and their measurements and everything for me, which was really good. And, yeah, the surrogate was, she's like, photo. so she got to see the twins in the photos as well. So she was very happy. She did a really great job. And, and we had no issues whatsoever. She was just
amazing.
Like, the perfect surrogate.
Yeah,
really, didn't ask for anything, didn't try and get any extra.
Just all the contract.
She did her job and, protected our babies and, did a fantastic job for us.
And so then, Scott, you and James came?
Yeah, we came down and coordinator looked after James. And, yeah, what happens for the babies? And just went into that surreal mode again, like, uh-oh, we got 2 more.
What did James think when he saw his brother and sister?
At the time, he didn't really sort of do anything,
he
really.
Was just kind of like,
in his own, he just said, oh, yeah. Look over, looks at them, didn't really, wasn't that interested at all. Didn't really sort of fathom anything, any changes at all. Yeah. More interested in his iPad and his cars and Matchbox cars and doing his own little thing and playing and running around. Yep. Now he loves them. Now he absolutely adores them.
Yes, because they have dummies.
Because they have dummies, so he steals their dummies. Because he's getting off dummies and they're getting on them. Okay. He bounces them on their bouncers. He goes over and sees them when they're crying and stuff, and lets us know they're there. He climbs on the couch with them and looks at them and
pats them on the head.
And
occasionally pokes them in the eye.
Pokes them in the eye.
Because he's always had a thing about eyes. So he'll like touch our eyes.
Okay.
So he does the same thing. He's like pats their head and then all of a sudden poke.
So how long were the twins in hospital for?
3 days.
3 days again.
Okay, then you went back to the apartment.
Yep.
And the day before they were released, the paediatrician sort of came up and was checking them, and I sort of asked when they might get to come out, and she's just like, oh. And I said, well, tomorrow would be the perfect day. I said, because it's actually my birthday tomorrow. Yeah. And she's like, we'll see. So
we kind of pushed them a little bit.
So the next day on my birthday, I was there when she came in and she sort of, had a quick look at them and had a chat with the nurses, and then she went, happy birthday.
Oh, that's nice.
And then she goes, the other one will do the check of them. Yep. So the other paediatrician did the check when she came in. So, yeah, they allowed after 3 days, which I think is unusual because normally with C-sections they keep them in a little bit longer. I
think it just depends. Every pregnancy is different.
Yeah.
But they were doing really well. They were feeding really well. Like, there didn't appear to be any issues.
One of my patients last year, a baby was born at 34 and she had a C-section. She was out in 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like obviously, and because they were born, they were good weights.
Yeah.
As well. So, our little chunker was nearly 3 kilos. And
that's doing well.
So little miss was 2.8. So
that's were fantastic for twins.
They were really good weights.
Yeah, we went back to the apartment and we had our formula station set up already. We had a 2-bedroom apartment, so we kind of split the babies into one room with Michelle, and then I stayed in James with the other room.
Uh-huh.
We had it all set up. We didn't really have a bassinet, but we just put 2 chairs together and put a gel in the middle of them and use that.
Just top and tailed them in that.
Top and tailed them. the temporary travel cot.
Yep.
And they worked really well.
What did you find different between the exit process this time to last time?
It was a lot quicker this time, being 28 days from birth to passport. Thanks to help from a very helpful person, a friendly person that helped us. And still don't know how you helped us, but I know you did. Thank you very much. So it does pay to have people that know people that in the consulate and also in the actual agency as well. With the lawyer, a couple of times I couldn't get contact with my lawyer, and I talked to Liz, and straight away they messaged back. How'd you do that? And try and call him for days.
Because it's me. No one ever not responds to me. Put it that way.
I think
they know that if they get a message from me, it's like, oh my goodness, Liz's message. We've got to message her back.
I think also once they knew that I knew you, they also helped us a lot more. We didn't get any special treatment. We just got, I don't know.
The process just went really quick. Like we got the Form 100 really quick this time compared to last time.
Yes, that helped.
Birth certificate.
Tell me about travelling to Turkey, because a lot of people obviously ask about it.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your experience.
Well, there's a little thing called the Middle East thing going on at the moment, which puts everything on edge at the moment. So backtracking a little bit, we had problems with our flights getting to Georgia in the first place because we normally go by Doha. That was closed.
Yeah, you were right smack bang in the middle of winter.
Yeah, it just started. Dubai was closed. The Turkish airline flights were going up literally $2,000 to $3,000 a day, and they were nearly impossible to book. It was way too complicated. So we probably, in hindsight, should have gone via Europe and double backtracked, but it was really hard to know what and how to do. And we just needed to get there. So we went via China Airlines, which wasn't the greatest decision of all because they're very strict on passports, visas, and security.
Yep.
And we had a lot of trouble. We actually got stuck in China.
But it's not a bad thing. But when you've got a language barrier where they just don't speak English and they don't, it appears that they don't even want to try and speak English.
Yeah.
It makes it very hard. You're trying to say something and, they just growl the same words at you over and over and over.
Yeah.
We transited China last year on our way home.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a pleasant experience for us.
The hardest thing is because you go from international to domestic, domestic to domestic, domestic to international, international to international flights. And that's where your problems happen. Every time you change from any different leg of a flight, you need to go through security and passport control.
Yeah.
And if you haven't got the language right, it's very difficult.
I know, and nobody speaks English.
Yes.
Not one person.
And trying to get help, like,
I agree.
And because we weren't aware that we would have to, basically clear immigration because there was a domestic leg in our flight. So, of course, to get to that, the guy, all he just kept saying was QR, 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 because you have to do a QR code when you enter China.
But with the QR code, you need to work in provinces and stuff.
Provinces and all this other stuff, which you don't have. So, like, after asking him for help about 10 times, me being in tears, in the end he huffs, goes and gets 3 of the old school paper forms and goes, here. And I tell you what, within a minute, I had all 3 filled out and we cleared through.
And then we got through to passport control. We got sent back because we had batteries in our...
We'd accidentally packed batteries.
That happened to us in China. I won't even tell you what happened with us.
So we half an hour trying to find these batteries, only to give them back to us again, to confiscate them to give them back to us again. And the worst thing is we didn't know you've got no credit card access. There's no Google in China.
Bingo, I know.
You can't buy anything. We got knocked back at Burger King, McDonald's.
Get food, because the food on the plane wasn't very...
I had WeChat, but I didn't have my credit card attached to it.
Yep.
So I was trying to get my card attached to WeChat to book us a taxi to get to the airport, because could you believe that a 5-star hotel wouldn't call us a taxi? We nearly missed our flight home.
Yeah. And the whole time I was thinking, if we don't make this next flight, we're going to be stuck in China. I don't want to be stuck in China with no money. We eventually found a souvenir shop that accepted some EFTPOS. A couple of them do, not many. the more you are in international part of the airport, they accept more credit cards. But it'd be literally like 1 in 20 would accept a credit card. So we got some drinks, we had snacks with us, we moved on. We found a burger shop in there and we had burgers. But that every leg of the airport, the flight itself, the airline was absolutely fine. It was on time, the hostesses and everything was great. With the plane, it's just they're transiting through immigration and security in China. I wouldn't recommend it unless. Now, we had a Chinese friend that was there at the time, and she said even she found it quite difficult.
Because she spoke the language, and she said it was a nightmare. If there's another way for you to get home, take it.
So that was just our first part of the journey, which put a whole layer of anxiety on us. Yep. And then we got there, and the whole time you're there, you're thinking, if I don't get this form or if I don't get this, any part of the process done, we're not going home. If we don't get passports, we don't go home. Yeah. If I go to Turkey and they don't let me back into Georgia, just for whatever reason, which is, and they did, we're not going home. So the whole part of the process, you're sort of overthinking and you should know one of my best bit of advice, trying to overthink it too much and just let it happen. And it'll happen. I got stopped twice in Georgia just asking why I was going. Had I done it before? And on the way back, I was asked if I lived in Georgia because I had so many Georgian stamps on my passport. Yeah. And they said, "Do you live here?" No, I don't live here. I'm on holidays with my wife and children. And I said, I've been to Turkey to get the passport so we can go home. They didn't understand it, but it's none of their business really to explain all about surrogacy and stuff. You just say you're on holidays. If they want to go through it, I had all the paperwork with me. Yeah. Went through it. Getting to Turkey, 4 flights. So you need to fly to Istanbul. At the time, Turkey was going on holiday for a week, so I had to be there that week before. So I flew out on Wednesday night, I think, to be there for a Thursday appointment. Now you fly via Istanbul and then on to Ankara. I'd been in contact with the driver.
Did you not book the direct flight with A2, or were they not running that day?
It would have been 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
For A2, and it was cheaper, but I didn't want to risk it because it was going through their app, not their website wasn't working. I would have had to book through their app, and I hadn't flown with them before, and I didn't want to risk it. It was more money.
But there was also hardly any flights.
Hardly any flights. Flights were being booked out solid because of the upcoming holidays. They were really busy. Very, very little left. Whereas Turkish Airlines had flights that night. It cost more, but it was impossible to get a one-way. Normally you book a one-way to go to Turkey. Once you get the passport, you come back. We booked return. I booked return because we had to. It was a lot cheaper. Yep.
But this meant he was there for an extra day because there were no return flights on Friday.
Very few seats left.
He ended up having to stay an extra day.
I'd also been in contact with my driver from the previous time. He picked me up and he was amazing as well. 4 different planes and 4 planes all broke down. One was late. One got changed. One made surround like loud noises, like banging for half an hour, like huge. I don't know what it was. One of the flights, had electrical problems, and the TVs were going on and off. And they said we're having problems with our TV service. The cabin lights went on, went off, went on, went off. The cabin lights went off for 20 minutes, total black, like pitch black, no lights, nothing, not even little safety lights. But the plane flew fine. And then we landed. We had turbulence. We bounced around on the thing. We get onto the bus. Bus breaks down.
Oh, you're kidding.
It's like if it could go wrong this time.
Sorry, but I have to laugh.
Bus breaks down on the tarmac and you go, everyone off. Another bus rolls up. We get onto the other bus and then we go, because in Istanbul, it's a very large airport.
Yes, it's a huge airport. Yep.
So I get to Ankara, I get to Istanbul and I try to use my Magti phone service. And I was assured when I got my Magti phone service in Georgia that it would work in Turkey because, it'll work. It doesn't work at all.
I don't know why they would tell you that because Magti's a Georgian company, only works in Georgia.
Yeah, they've got to deal with Turkcell.
Okay.
So they share the carriers, but luckily I found a Turkcell because I needed to contact my driver.
Yeah.
So I had Wi-Fi in the airport, but then you've got to put all your passport details and stuff in. It was a lot harder. It's not great, strong Wi-Fi. I needed to contact home as well in case anything was going on. So I needed a phone service. I found a Turkcell in the airport and they said, Magti's not paying their taxes. The government is not allowing them to share the carrier.
Right.
The only way I can do it is to get a Turkcell eSIM and recalibrate my phone, which I had to do, which I was then worried about. Okay, what about the numbers that are on my Maggie phone, because I still need my home phone to work it out. They worked it out for me. It cost me $80, 80 Australian dollars, because I had to buy a 3-month plan. But at that point, I didn't really care. I just wanted to move on and get off. I got there, and the driver picked me up at 2 a.m. First, they dropped me off in the wrong part of the airport, right down the very end. And the airport was actually closed. I don't know why they let us through. And we kind of walked through a passport area that was closed, but we just went through the barriers, and they sort of said, "What are you doing here?" And they said, "Oh, I'll just leave." So we left. My driver picked me up, and he drove us to the hotel. I can't think of the name at the moment, but it's the same hotel I use every time, the one near the Anchor Embassy. And it was pitch black, and I thought this place has got to be closed. And I think because of power prices there, they just sit in the dark. They had a little man sit in the back room on the couch at the back in the darkness. So he came out and went, "Oh, they were good." And and the next day I went down to the embassy. Now, with the embassy, you can't be late and you can't be early. And I didn't want to be late and I didn't want to be early. So I was 10 minutes early. So I walked up and down the street.
Not recommended.
Not recommended to do that, because security saw me doing that and they thought I looked suspicious. When I got to the embassy, they nearly pulled a gun on me. He said, "Halt, stay back, go back, don't come in," and put his hand on his revolver and said, "Go back." And I said, "Australia," I put my hands up in the air, "Australia, Australian embassy. I have an appointment, Australia." And he just kept his hand on his gun the whole time for 10 minutes while I waited for security to come out and escort me in. So that was not great, not fun. But anyway, once you're in the embassy, it's very strict security. I had a 45-minute interview inside, and you just literally, it's not really an interview, you just show all your documents and they photocopy everything. And they say, "Don't go home, we're going to print the emergency passports." At 9 a.m. the next day, I had an email saying, "Your passports are ready." I went down there. I wasn't allowed to go in again. Different gentlemen this time. They're much more friendly this time. And they get on their phone, they come down, and bring the passports out, and that's it. And then I went back to the hotel and stayed there. That was it. And then I went back. My driver picked me up and then went back to Georgia. So that was within that time frame. We were kind of looking at flights to come back at the same time. And Dubai had opened a week earlier. And I know you weren't covered under the travel insurance, because it's Smart Travel says don't go there. But I was looking at Flight Radar, and many people were traveling. Another friend from Australia had travelled 2 weeks earlier and gone back to Perth through Dubai and said it's all open. I looked at the airport status; it was all open and friendly. So it actually was the cheapest way to go. So and honestly, it ended up being the best.
It's the best
experience with Emirates. Once we got through, and leaving Georgia was fine. They just photocopied the birth certificate. They had no problems at all with the passports.
Yeah, the girl at the airport, she was funny because she's like, surrogation.
Surrogation.
Yeah,
surrogation.
But it was so easy because she's just like, "Oh, look, I'm sorry, you just need to go." And I'm like, yeah, we just got to go over there and do it there. Yep. So, went over to the other person, and by the time they, photocopied what they needed to photocopy, it was like, yep, go through.
Yeah, and
it was so quick and easy.
We did a fly Dubai leg to Dubai. It was like about 3 hours, wasn't it?
Yep.
5, was it? 5?
I think it's 5 hours.
Nah, during when the war stuff,
because they're having to take a bit of a wider.
Yeah, they were diverting slightly the route, so it was taking longer. Normally, it's 3 hours 15.
Yeah,
it's about 5 because they've got to do a bigger arc.
Bigger loop around it. And we got there. They were pretty good. With us. And then once we got into the Emirates leg, and transiting through Dubai, and that it's a 45-minute bus ride from terminal to terminal, and then another half-hour bus ride, a 10-minute train ride. But the whole way, there's people helping you in Dubai, and there's people there, and it's very well signed. Go to this section, go to this number, go to this gate. Here's where you go. Ended up being an amazing experience. Once we got on the plane was half full as well. And once we got on the plane, they loved to say, "Oh, wow, babies, and look at the twins. I'm a twin." And they were absolutely amazing with James. They gave us an extra seat. They had many seats we wanted, really. People were just lying down in spare seats. And They loved us and looked after us really, really well.
Nice.
And then when we got back to Melbourne, because I said, let's just wait for the plane to clear, because every time we need to go to walk out, we needed people to help us with our luggage.
Yep.
You can't. I was saying the whole time before we left, how are we going to hold 2 nappy bags, a carry-on, 2 twins, and a 2-year-old?
Yep.
Because we shortened our luggage, we condensed our luggage on the way back, put suitcases inside suitcases, and they offered to help us. And they said, can we help you? So we'll carry your luggage. They carried our luggage all the way through to passports. They said, we'll meet you on the other side of passports. On the other side of passports, they went and got luggage trolley for us, got our pram for us, offered to hold our babies if needed, and made sure we're okay, help us collect our luggage, and then walked all the way out to the car and waited at the car outside with us in the car.
Oh, my goodness.
And you know what the lady said to us? She goes, I remember you. How is this? I remember you from 2 years ago. You were coming back from Georgia, from near Russia area. You were doing surrogacy in Georgia, weren't you? She goes, I remember you. And I don't know how, because we never flew Emirates before. So she must have been on the Qatar flight. On the same flight. She's obviously changed carriers.
Swapped carriers.
She swapped carriers, changed her job, and she remembered us. And she was amazing too.
That's
Stayed with
incredible.
us the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah, they were so good with just helping with everything.
How did the twins travel home? How were they? Like, did they do okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were good.
I reckon, but I know with James when we came home, because people had said, oh, make sure you're feeding on takeoff and landing and, to help them with their ears. I don't think we did one feed on any of our takeoff or landings.
No.
We just made sure they had a dummy, and they were perfect.
James cried a bit with sort of the ears, and I just fed him a lolly, a banana, or whatever.
But it's like
food,
a giant sound machine.
Cuddled him a bit. Yeah, no, they slept really, really well. We had a Nigel in the middle of it, so between seats, so they top-tailed in there. And then we just, Michelle slept a little bit here and there, and I would just change them. Basically, we put the nappy bag on the spare seat behind us. In Dubai, we washed our bottles. We took about 10 to 12 bottles in there.
Yeah.
10 to 12 bottles. They had the formula in partition, the little canisters.
Yep.
They had the formula already, but in Dubai.
We did that as well. Yeah.
So in Dubai, we just did a full reset.
Yeah.
Washed what bottles needed to be washed and cleaned.
We didn't warm the water. We chose that it would be too hard to warm their water. So we just got about 3 or 4 days before we left, we just got them onto room temperature water just to make it that little bit easier for us. And then we had a travelling wand, the UV wand, to sterilise the bottles, which we did that in Dubai. Reset ourselves in Dubai with about 3-hour layover, eat, fed, changed their clothes and stuff, and then, back on board.
So let me ask you, what do you think the main differences were with the two journeys?
A
lot more tiring.
Double trouble. I'm still trying to work out, do we get buy one, get one free, or do we get 2 for the price of one this time?
Look, the only thing that was a little bit disappointing the second time was that there was 2 particular places that I wanted to go and eat at.
Both closed.
And they had both closed down.
The place had changed a little.
So that
we felt that too. Our favourite place was closed down.
Yeah, because there was this place where we would go and get a pad thai, and it was so nice, and I was so looking forward to going there. And they closed down renovations and never reopened.
A few of the restaurants had changed.
Yeah.
The journey itself was very similar. The hospital journey was very similar in itself, apart from having 2. Everything was very, very similar. The paperwork was all similar, release and everything. The driver's the same. Michelle is amazing.
Yeah.
We found the country had changed, though. One of the worst problems was the e-scooters.
Yep.
Now, we stayed in Rasta Valley last time, and we would walk to Vacay nearly every day for a walk in the afternoon. This time we couldn't do that because of the kids on the e-scooters.
Especially on a weekend.
They
just
night time.
Was zooming in and out of people on the footpath.
At full speed.
And, there was a couple of close calls. So, we decided that it wasn't a good idea to walk in the evenings or on a weekend in particular.
Yep.
But where we stayed, the university was just down the road.
Yeah.
And no e-scooters are allowed in there. And there's this nice big open area that Scott would take James down to
Oh, were
run.
you in Sabatalo this time?
No, we were in Buckeye.
But you must have been closer to the Sabatalo side. That's where all the universities are.
Yeah, there's when you walk up Ilichas Chavadez.
Yep.
There's that first union.
Yep, I know exactly.
On that major, that one.
Yep.
We were just two blocks up
from there.
Okay.
So, and like, because you would go in there and there was always prams and
all the time, prams, little kids
walking around in there because it was a safe space.
Yeah, no playgrounds, but James would just climb the stairs and slide down the slopes of the walkways. There was an old church in there. We met the priest there a few times. And I found that there's a lovely little student cafe in there, which is not marked. It's kind of, and it's kind of says cafeteria, but in Georgian, but I didn't know what it was. And I just walked in there one day and thought, well, I wonder if they'll kick me out. I wonder if I'm allowed in here. And they didn't stop me. And they had the most amazing chips and pizza. And at student prices. And we went in there nearly every day when we could.
Oh, you too.
And if every time I walked past, James would make a beeline straight for those stairs. Yeah. He'd cry and have a big tantrum if we didn't go into the cafe. And we had chips and pizza and cakes and drinks every day there that we could. Amazing. And we felt a lot safer in there because there's just less people. There's security around as well.
Yep.
And saying that, look, Georgia's a very safe place. I love Georgia. I love having the police everywhere as well.
Yep.
They're a bit different to our Australian police, and there's more of them there. And look, honestly, if I can say, they don't take shit from no one.
No, that's
and they blast people on their PA system in their cars. Get out of the way, which they don't do that here. So no crime. You always felt safe in Georgia. There's no crime.
Yeah.
And that's probably the change from Australia to Georgia. I think the journeys
and the
cleanliness. Yeah, they take pride. Georgians take pride. There's no dumping of rubbish on the side of the road as you see in Australia. Right. But yeah, no, our journeys were probably the same, different,
very similar,
same but yet different. And FYI, that's it. We're done. We are done.
So,
done.
Having said that, you are done. Of course, you've got this beautiful family. I mean, you always had a beautiful family, but now your family has extended, and from one older parent to another.
Mm-hmm.
Because I often get people asking me, am I too old? And I mean, I can answer from my point of view. I'm curious to know how you guys feel, because in my situation, I am by far the oldest mum at school.
Yep.
I was the oldest mum at, kinder, at daycare, at everything. So, how do you guys feel about that?
I very rarely get asked that. Sometimes I do, like, oh, you won't see them get married or something like that,
Yeah, but then, I try to think of it positively and go, we've paid off our home. We've been fortunate enough to be able to do that, so we don't have a mortgage to worry about. I've travelled, in my youth. I did a lot of travelling overseas and all of that sort of stuff.
We have more time for them, really.
We have more time. Like, neither of us has to work full time.
Yeah, so I work part time and Michelle works from home.
Part time. So we have the time. We don't have to rely on childcare if we don't want to. We get to see all the little milestones that our kids make. And, like some of these younger ones, like, yes, they go out and have their children while they're young and, in theory they have the energy to run around after them. But do they really? Because they're having to both work full time. They've got their kids in daycare full time.
Yeah.
You pick your child up from daycare, you bring them home, you give them dinner, you give them a bath, and you put them to bed.
Yeah.
Like, you miss out on a lot of.
I agree with you.
Would be they miss out on a lot of the milestones.
And I think one of the things for me that I found the most is that I've got so much more patience because I'm older.
You're more knowledgeable. Yeah. You're much more patient. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just You
can't change it, Liz. You can't go back.
No.
You can only go forward. These are the cards that life dealt us.
I feel so blessed to be, I feel blessed to be a mother, but I also actually feel blessed to be an older mother because, like you said, it comes with wisdom. It comes with, more financial stability behind you, like you guys.
Yes.
I've been fortunate enough to travel and tour around the world, and I wouldn't give up those experiences. And look, I've got friends of mine who've never left the country, and they're my age.
Yeah.
And you know what's fun? It's fun playing with toys. Love it. Love
Oh,
going.
so
We went to the
does
playground today on the slide and the swings. I also love playing. Like sometimes we have the old, oh, they're your grandchildren. No.
I can't believe people would say that to you guys.
Yeah, we occasionally.
Scott has had it before. Yeah,
had it a few times. Grandchild, no. I love to have games with people. James went for a trial today at childcare. So his first day, and put him in, and they said, "Oh, is he your only child?" I said, "No, we just had twins." How old? I said, "Well, they're 8 weeks old," and she was amazed, like really thrown back that I would have 3 children that young, at being my age. But yeah, and you just look at them, yep, I've done it.
Yep.
Can't change it, and I'm very proud of what we've done.
No, and
very,
that's
very
the
proud.
thing. And I think for those of us that join this very exclusive club called surrogacy, no one understands what we've all had to go through to get to this point.
And that's exactly right. People don't realise, like, it's not like you just go, I don't want to have a kid. I think I'm just going to go surrogacy. You don't do that. You've gone through a hell of a lot of stress, and you, like, for the women, we've put our bodies through cycles and all those hormone drugs and all of that to still have nothing at the end, and all the money that you've spent. So, like, ending up at surrogacy, it's not the first choice. Like, I would have loved to have been able to carry our babies and birth our babies, but that just was not the plan for us. This was the plan. So,
hindsight's a wonderful thing. Look, we wish we'd started earlier, but there is no book of rules or no how-to book on this. But there's a lovely thing called a podcast now you can go listen to. And
I want
to
thank you both for joining me today.
No worries.
And in particular, Scott, I also want to thank you for all the support that you give other people that are on their surrogacy journeys, because you do a lot of good things for a lot of people, and just know that it is appreciated.
Thank you.
And you've both got these 3 beautiful children. I can't wait to catch up and have cuddles.
Yes,
we definitely will catch up.
Yes.
And I just want to wish all 5 of you all the very, very best. And
how good have they been?
They have been amazing.
A little bit, they're screaming.
Not a peep. They're just looking at me, and they're just, perfect.
Yeah.
You guys,
thank you so much, Liz. Thank you so much from the bottom of our heart for all your help, you've given us. It truly has been amazing. Yeah, we appreciate all your help, and I know you did help us. I joke about it, but I know you did help us a lot personally.
And I will help anyone who's who needs help. But that's what I do. That's what that's my life's mission now.
Yeah.
And when I get to see beautiful families like you guys, it just makes everything worthwhile. It really does.
All righty.
Thank you everybody for listening to another episode, and thank you to all our special guests. I'll see you on the next episode of the Georgian Surrogacy Podcast.
Bye.
Bye.